Local author, psychologist, and couples counselor has a new book out. It's called Betrayal and Forgiveness. Bruce Chalmer joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
So based on the title of the book, I think I have an idea of what it's about generally, but give our viewers a sense of what the book covers and why you wrote it.
Well, I wrote a book about betrayal because I would guess well over half of the couples that see me in a first session, because I'm a couples therapist, and well over half of them are dealing with some kind of betrayal. And betrayal isn't just when somebody gets hurt. I mean, anybody can get hurt. We all do get hurt. Betrayal is when you get hurt by someone whom you never would have thought would do that. And so it's a double whammy, because you're not only, whatever the hurt was, if you're cheated on or somebody did some sort of financial wrong to you or lied about you or any of that sort of stuff, you're dealing with all of that, and then you're dealing with the fact that someone that you implicitly trusted because of your relationship with them basically stabbed you in the back, and it's really hard to recover from. And what I've found in working with couples for, coming up on 30 years in private practice now, is that the couples that can heal from that are the ones who are able to find the meaning in it, even though it was really difficult. And when I say heal, they don't always stay together. You can heal and not stay together, or heal and stay together. But especially the ones that heal and are able to stay together, I find it very inspiring. And I wanted to write a book that talked about what it was about those couples that made it possible for them to heal in that way.
Now, are there some things in a relationship, though, that can't or maybe even shouldn't be forgiven?
Oh, yeah. Well, and of course, it depends on what you mean by the word forgiven. I use the word forgiven to talk about the idea that you can let go of the preoccupation with the anger and the shock and the, all of that kind of painful stuff. I don't necessarily mean that it means you would trust somebody again or that you'd even restore your relationship. So certainly some kinds of betrayals, it's very unlikely that somebody would come back from that and heal the relationship. But it's surprising, folks where there's been infidelity, for example, which is a big chunk of the folks that I work with, lots of people are able to come back with that because they're able to find some meaning in it. They're able, it's funny, I don't think I can say what I usually call it on TV, but we'll call it the oh shoot moment.
Okay.
The oh shoot moment is when they are able to recognize, oh, no wonder this has happened. It doesn't, absolve anybody of responsibility for immoral action, but it does mean they start to understand it. And when you can form that kind of understanding about someone that's done you really serious harm, that's where the seeds of healing are. And we can apply that much more generally. I mean, in terms of healing the country.
Yeah, so that was going to be one of my other questions to you, which is, are the lessons in this book, not necessarily just for relationships, but for broader hurts as well?
Yeah. Now, the book itself is really focused on relationships, but yes, the principles involved, I think, are very much appropriate. It's something about, this is actually something I wrote about in my previous book, something about being able to get out of our set notions of what things must mean and allow for other possibilities. The difference, in a previous book I wrote about the difference between ideas and ideologies. That good ideas, when they harden into ideologies, often turn bad. They turn into caricatures of whatever the good ideas were. And that happens in a relationship, and I think it happens more generally, in politics. It happens, when whatever tribal factions exist, when people start defending their ideas as opposed to exchanging their ideas, then you have a recipe for a lot of discord.
And talk about the role of faith in healing a relationship. Are you talking about a religious faith, or are you talking about a different kind of faith, or both?
I'm talking about something that overlaps with religious faith but isn't the same as religious faith. When I use the word faith, what I mean, it's a mindset. It's a mindset that says reality is essentially right to be what it is. And that's the mindset that seems to be associated with couples that are able to heal. That sense that, wow, this was terrible, this was painful, but there's something right about it, even if it was morally wrong. There's something about it that seems to have needed to happen. And when couples that have the courage to look at that, because it can be very painful, they're the ones that are apt to be able to heal. The couples that look at it and say, oh, this is terrible, we just want to go back to the way things were before, it tends not to work out well, because the way things were before is what led to the problem.
Got it. We will have information about the book on our website with this story so people can find it. Bruce, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for having me.